Welcome everyone to our next live session. And today we're going to dedicate this time learning how to deal with anxiety. My name is Alsuka Shapova. I'm a holistic therapist. And I was just recently traveling to Dolomites Mountains, and I was looking back and reflecting through my experience. And I remembered how anxiety was of the core state that I was living in most of the time. And how was it just association? I was even feeling that I'm just anxious person for so many years. And I realized that for so many people at this time, when there is so much uncertainty with all the pandemics and where it's not clear what's happening, more and more people are experiencing anxiety. So that's why I thought that it would be helpful to do this session where I could share my practices and also tools that were helpful to me personally. And also right now, since I'm working with clients, most of the people in parallel to working with whatever that their issue is, anxiety is also there because anyway, it's related to change. A lot of times anxiety is an emotion of the future. And when we think about the future, there are so many fears that come up. So that's why I welcome you to stay and enjoy this session. There will be many practices. And one thing that I will tell you that I'm not going to help you to get rid of anxiety. So if you are looking for this, I'm going to tell you that it's not going to happen. And if you're curious why, I'm also inviting you to stay until the end because during the session we will talk about it as well, to the approach of the anxiety. And overall, during the session, we were going to talk about tools and practices to regulate the nervous system as coping mechanisms and strategies, as well as about embracing anxiety, learning how to deal with thoughts, with judgments, and with fear, how to embrace it and learn more about yourself, about your beliefs. And also we're going to have examples of how to take certain actions and set goals for yourself for the future. So please take your comfortable place and let's go to enjoy this journey. And at the beginning, I would also say that, of course, there are different levels of anxiety. For many of people, it's related to fear of the future, of this stress that you experience in daily life. For some people, it might be stronger situations, more intense in a way, having phobias or OCD or certain PTSD and related to trauma. So I'm just going to tell you that it's not going to replace your therapy. So please keep doing whatever that you are doing. But it will definitely increase your knowledge and give you some more practical tools that you can apply immediately into your life. And I would be curious to know, what is your intention here? What is the area of your life where you experience anxiety right now? So take a moment to think of it. Well, if you are joining live right now, you can comment. If you're joining later as well, you can comment or just write it in your paper where in your life that you experience anxiety the most. And I'm just going to invite you to think of it. And if there are many areas, you can also write them down. And in order to be more focused right now, let's play around with this thought. And I'm going to invite you to think about who would you be without this issue, without constant feeling of anxiety in this area. And in order for us to do this, I'm going to invite you for visualization practice. So please take a seat, sit comfortably where you are and close your eyes. So this could be also helpful for you to imagine where you want to be and what actually you would like to address the most. And before that, while you're taking your seat, I'm going to check my settings on my camera and microphone. Okay. Just give me a moment Okay. All right. It's all good. So my microphone is good, and I believe that you already took a comfortable position for the guided visualization. So you can close your eyes, take a breath. Take a breath from your belly and release on exhale, relax. And one more time. And imagine if right now, whenever that you are at home or maybe in a cafe or somewhere right now in this year, 2021, and I want you to imagine that if there is a time machine that is available to you and that is just in front of you, and you can hop in and travel through time. You can imagine how you are jumping into the time machine and you're flying above beautiful, beautiful nature, above the mountains and trees. You can see the sky and the sun. And you can see yourself in the moment, in the future, where you could experience less and less anxiety, where you can easily deal with it, even if it's rising for you. Just allow yourself to play with this thought. Imagine the possibility that you can be in the space, that you are at peace, feeling absolutely safe, and trusting yourself and the process. Feel the safety in your belly and in your heart. And just think about what would the future be if you are able to deal with any arising feelings, anxiety, with ease and joy, when you are constantly at peace and you can deal with whatever challenging tasks and situations while feeling at peace, while feeling relaxed. What would it be? How would your life change? Think about that area where you are experiencing any challenge right now. And imagine this area. How would it be if you have a state of peace? How would you feel about yourself? And how would you feel about the world? What else? What other changes that might happen in your life? And with this, just set the intention of what is the goal for you going through this session today. Maybe you would like to reach a certain goal in your career, maybe in relationships, maybe how you appear with other people, maybe how you feel about yourself with others. Whatever it is, just think about this intention. And imagine from this time machine, you can look back through your journey. Back. It was difficult for you to deal with anxiety. But right now, every day, you are learning and creating more space of peace in your life and in your heart. And imagine how even this session will already bring you results, will already bring you changes in your life. And with this intention, you can come back. Imagine that the time machine brings you where you are right now. You can take a breath and gently open your eyes. Beautiful. I hope that this will clarify for you your intention, this beautiful practice, so you can stay focused also on your goal rather than on anxiety itself, because anxiety is probably just something on the way towards what you want. And we will have in mind that you will orient this energy that you are spending today with me and with whoever is joining today for your goals. And we will go into practices. So if you would like to share also from your future visualization, also where you want to be, how your life will change, please go ahead, because I believe that this will be inspiring not just for you, but also for whoever will be joining and reading your comment. So let's inspire each other. And I could reflect back on my journey. For me, anxiety, I realized at some point that it was just a normal state of mind, a normal state of being, to be constantly worried about something. And when I realized that, it was interesting because I couldn't imagine myself without being worried. And I realized that it's even something that I think that is good, because if I'm worried, I perceive myself as caring person, as thinking, considerate, well-planned. So I realized that if I will have no anxiety, then who would I be then? Then probably I'll just fail. Or if I would not be worried, that would be considered that I'm not caring person. I don't care about others, about my work. So then it was very interesting as well to just understand that what anxiety does for me. So think about it as well. So currently, you have your idea, you have your future goal, and at the same time, you have this anxiety that is rising up. And most likely, because it's still there, it does something for you. It serves a certain function. So think about what currently anxiety gives you. And you don't need to write down this for everyone, because I invite you to be very honest when you answer that. Really be honest with yourself. Like, okay, it probably gives you sense of safety or comfort level, because when you're anxious, when you're afraid, then maybe you stay in your safe zone and don't go out of that. Or maybe there is completely different thing. It's very personal. So the next question for you is what anxiety gives you actually. What was the benefit of you staying in this state? Because for sure, there is something. Otherwise, you won't be having it. If there is a coping mechanism, that also because it serves us, or maybe it was serving you, it's not so needed anymore, but there is still something because it's still there. Okay, and while you're thinking about these questions, there is another first step that we start with everything is about regulating your nervous system. So when you are in the state of anxiety, what it means for your nervous system, that it's constantly on the defense state, on the fight or flight response. And of course, it's very hard. It's it creates a lot of tension. There is no rest, no relaxation, no rejuvenation in that state. Because for our normal health, well-being, it's important to have balance between a regulated state of the nervous system. And here I'm talking about balance of parasympathetic state and sympathetic. So sympathetic part of the nervous system is responsible for fight and flight, for activation. And we also need this state in order to accomplish goals. If we want to go somewhere, we need it, it's necessary. But at the same time, we also need a state of parasympathetic nervous system when we feel relaxed and just for the resting, when you sleep, when you digest, and just for the normal well-being. With our modern world, it's not the environment doesn't support us to be more and more in this state of relaxation, because even the way we relax now, it's active. We watch movies, we stay chatting with people on WhatsApp, or like there is always something active, even for relaxation. So that's why right now, think about your life. Do you have any time during the day where you actually feel fully relaxed, where you feel that you can be at peace, you don't need to worry about anything, you don't need to actively think or do something? And if the answer is no, then please, that's your first step, because before addressing anxiety on a deeper level, before embracing it, which we will also talk about later on, it's important to have a regulated state, not coping skills to deal with anxiety when it's arising. So then only you could go deeper, then only you could heal probably hidden emotional wounds or trauma behind anxiety. So, of course, as a breath worker, I would recommend you one of the most effective way is to regulate your nervous system is through your breathing, because breathing is connected to your nervous system. And if you change your while you're changing the nervous state, then your breathing will change as well. For example, if you are active, how do you breathe usually? Think about it. Usually you breathe like a very fast or shallow on the chest area. And when you are relaxed, when you are more enjoying yourself, then your breathing will be also like more relaxed and extended. So the reverse way works as well. And that's the power and beauty of it, because you can just simply change your breathing and it will impact your nervous system. So right now, let's do a simple experiment. At the beginning, try to breathe more fast and focus on active inhale and short exhale within your chest area, like what that this state creates. Okay, I see someone is writing, state of activation, nervousness. Yeah, exactly. If you are going somewhere, if you need to do something. And right now, let's breathe differently. Let's breathe just with focus of extended, relaxed, long exhalations. Let's just do this. Just simply breathe, slowing down your exhalation. There is no other specific instruction. Slowing down your exhalation. How does it feel for your body, for your state, for your thoughts? More relaxed. Absolutely. It's more relaxed state for the nervous system. So remember just that. If you want to be more relaxed and balance your nervous system, you can just simply breathe with focus on extended exhalation. And we will do a simple practice right now, which called coherent breathing, also really useful. And when you breathe coherently in a balanced way, inhale will be on the count of 5, exhale will be also on the count of 5. So it's equal breath, extended inhale, extended exhale. We will also add a bit of visualization with our heart. And then we will also do another practice with the sound, but let me talk about it a little bit later. So you can just sit with your relaxed belly, relax your belly, relax your heart. And simply you can close your eyes to focus on your internal state. And do one breath to empty your lungs. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, expanding your belly, creating more space. Exhale, just relaxing. Inhale, creating more space in your belly. Exhale, relax. Release any tensions with exhalation. Inhale through your nose, through your belly. And simply exhale, relaxing your belly. Inhale through your chest, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale through your chest, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale fully, creating more space in your lungs, in your heart. Creating more space, opening up your heart. And exhale, softening your heart, softening your lungs and your belly. Inhale, opening up your heart, creating more space for love. And exhale, just release and soften your heart, soften your lungs. Inhale, creating more space in your lungs, engaging your heart. And exhale, softening, relaxing. Inhale through your heart, creating more space for the loving presence. And exhale, spreading love around you. And you can conclude now. So this was a short sample of coherent breathing practice. And also you can put your attention in more loving presence of your heart. That's always brings a feeling of expansion, because usually also what's the state of anxiety? It's constructing, making you feel smaller, restricted. That's how people describe it. So what would be the state that will help us to regulate is a more expanded, soft and relaxed state. And usually when we're not in a space of our mind, but more in a space of our heart, of our gut, so we could focus simply on our chest and belly and expand those areas, create more space. That's also helpful. So that's the first practice that you can take home, or actually the second one. And another way to extend your exhalation is through the sound. Super easy and joyful as well. You can simply extend your exhale with a sound, simply sound of ah. And again, we will do with focusing on our belly and our heart, just because this is where we want to be, rather than to be in our cognitive state all the time. So we will do that. If you don't have much space, just do a little bit of sound, and you can practice it later on as well in a more environment when it's acceptable. But for those of you who are at home right now, just join me. So put your hands on your belly, and we will inhale, and we will just do a sound that you think that is coming from your belly. Maybe you would feel even a bit of vibrations in your belly, a little bit of lower sound. Take a break, just enjoy this state. And now we breathe from our heart, maybe with a sound that will come from your heart with this vibration and sound. Oh, feels good. And we will do also with the sound of just humming, just sound, also really good. And you can do it anywhere, like a bee sound. So let's do it one time from our belly. And one more time from our heart area, also humming sound. Beautiful. So with sounds, you can also play, and also even just simply creating more like the sh sound helps as well, like similar to Ujjayi breath in yoga. So play around. I would suggest you to not take it as a recipe for everyone, but play with what suits you, what feels comfortable. And maybe you do have certain practices that you've been doing, and when you feel completely safe and present. For example, one client of mine, she loves dancing, and when she says when she dances, there is nothing more. It's just like this dance, and she's there, the music. So probably there is something for you there too. Or maybe it's nature, maybe it's spending time with animals, or even with a social context, with relationships is also very healing. Of course, with relationships, with people who really can hold space for you, or where you can just be present, you don't need to do any activation, any effort. So relationships where you feel effortless, That will be really healing as well. You can even record voice of someone who you feel that really soothing for you. You can use their voice or in your head as well. Or you can record yourself as well, also helpful. But even spending time in nature or doing certain physical practice, rhythmic dancing or playing instruments will be helpful. So find the space where you can really be safe. Simply just taking a cup of tea and putting blanket around you, staying in your room can be useful as well, whatever it is. Because when you are in a state of regulated nervous system, then you can go deeper, then you can heal a deeper level of anxiety. But if you are just in this state all the time, first it's important to regulate yourself. All right, so I will trust that you will implement certain practice, or you will find something, or you will keep practicing it. A lot of times people tend to think we all the same. It's like, oh, I tried it, I know it. So it's not enough to know these things on cognitive level. I'm sure that you read tons of informations already, but it doesn't bring any difference in life. The difference comes with constant practice. Okay, and let's go into the next part where you can embrace anxiety actually. And first, we will start with working with thoughts, because what actually is anxiety? It's the response of your body, it's bodily reaction to certain thoughts, to certain images in your head. Usually it's not even to the real situation, but the image that you create about this situation. Sometimes it's even fear of the experience itself. How would you feel when this situation will finish, for example? So I would suggest you to start with inquiry, with really being a detective for yourself, figuring out what's the predisposition for this experience of anxiety for you. And we need to be really specific here. For instance, if it's when you go into your workspace and you feel anxious, that's not enough. Okay, what exactly happens when you feel anxious, when you start feeling anxious? Is it that you are going in a certain room? Is it a certain time of the day? And then you can think of it, what is about this room that makes me anxious? Maybe there is this like sound that reminds you about something. Or maybe it's a person. Actually, there is a person that sits there, and that person triggers you. Or maybe in a certain hour you have a meeting, and that presenting something, you know that you need to present a report there, that makes you anxious. So we need to be really, really specific, and you might be surprised, because sometimes it's from this big thing, from the big cloud of what makes you scary, you can see the monster and you can put the light there, and this monster can be really become smaller, so you can actually deal with that. And yeah, so that's the first question, is like, what happens before I start feeling anxious? What exact thing happens? Who is the person that is triggering anxiety in me? So think about it, and you can keep observing yourself. It's an interesting game. If you don't have the answers right now, that's what you can do on a daily basis. Keep observing, and the more information you go, you can narrow down to the specific thing that you can address later on. And then I suggest you to deal with whatever the major thought that is there for you and makes you feel anxious. For example, I work with many people who go through changes in their lives, whether it's after divorce or during breakup, or maybe going into a new job. So it's definitely feels scary because it's new. It's you need to redefine yourself, and there are a lot of thoughts that come. And usually, what type of thoughts are these? It starts with what if. You probably all know it. If you have those thoughts sometimes, just make any thumb that, yeah, I know it. What if this? What if that? What if this happens? What about this? So I suggest you to not try to push those thoughts away. You can simply observe, and if you are able not to engage with those thoughts, that's great. That means that they are probably not as important to you, that they are not that triggering, so let them pass. And there are certain thoughts that really knocking your door all over again, and this thought just becomes bigger and bigger. So then I suggest you to sit with it and say, like, okay, this thought, come, catch it from the mind and bring it in front of you, because then you can name it, so you can tame it. You can write it down, what is specifically that scares you. And sometimes it might happen that it's like, oh, if I don't get a new job immediately, I'll not have my funds and savings, and or I don't know, or like I need to find my partner, or if I don't find it, I'll be alone. So all of these thoughts start coming, and I would suggest you to even embrace it. And my question usually that I like to ask myself is, what's the worst thing could happen? And really, it's like, what's the worst thing could happen? And I actually remember I had this as well when I was changing my career. I thought that, okay, what if I will not succeed in it, and what would happen? And then I stayed with the question, what if this would happen? What's the worst could happen? And answer it, don't go out away. And then I was like, okay, then I would need to go back home and stay with my parents. And that was my fear. And then the next question is like the reality check. Is it actually the worst of the worst? And then I was like, yeah, maybe it feels uncomfortable, but in the end of the day, I would spend beautiful time with my parents, and I'll enjoy some time. And then you keep questioning yourself, okay, so, and then I'm like, but then I'll find, we'll try at least a few options how to make it work. Okay, then keep asking. Then okay, then what would happen? What's the worst? And then I realized that the worst of what I could imagine is not the worst. Then working with my clients, it's pretty much similar, that you need to go back to your starting position, or you will not succeed at the first time. And when you understand that it's actually not the worst of the worst, then you can make it make these thoughts smaller. Because what creates the anxiety is disproportion of when you have a certain fear, and it seems so big, you overestimate it, and you underestimate your capacity that you can deal with it. And when you realize that actually the situation is this, and I am this, and I can deal with it, I will have to deal with it anyway, then it becomes smaller, and then anxiety level will go down. But I like to not stop there. I like to ask the next question. And this one is really playful, is what is the best could happen? What's the best thing could happen? And because we actually don't know what would happen. We can't think about it, and most likely our mind will create the 10 worst scenarios, but there is a 50% chance that the best thing could happen as well. It's 50-50. You never know. So you could also play around, and as we did today in the future visualization, you can just allow yourself to think, oh, what if actually that I will allow myself to go and into a new relationships? What would happen? I would probably find a brilliant man who really loves me and appreciates me, and I will be really happy. I'll be happy with myself as well. Or even, just keep playing around with this. Even if it's a small thing, for example, what's the best could happen if you need to give report to your boss tomorrow? It's like, oh, I'll just feel good about myself. I'll probably get a raise, or just gain a new position. So just allow yourself to think about all possibilities. Why we only think about the worst thing, we can also expand it and think about best thing. And then I like not to stop there, but ask the next question. It's what's the normal thing that could happen? Because yeah, we went through some worst, best, and what's the usual situation, some typical situation that happens to this with other people. Let's say that if you want to step into new relationships, it's like what the normal thing could happen is like, oh, probably I'll go on a date and maybe I don't like this person at once, but at least I'll gain experience. And then I could go to another date and eventually I could meet the person who I like. I will know better about myself. I would understand better how can I assess who is the best for me. So this conversation really helped narrow down and make from the big scary thing actually a specific thing that you are worried about the most. And then you can actually take actions on that. And also related to thoughts, what typically happens that people are afraid of social judgment related to social anxiety, right? So typically it's not even what would happen and if I fail, it's okay, but what would others say? So that's usually a typical judgmental thought that creates anxiety. And in that case, I'm also suggesting use the same ways, like, okay, so let's take this thought, judgment, give it to me, write it down. So first of all, specify, then what would be their judgment? What would people say? And it's like, that you're stupid, that I'm a failure. Okay, who would be this person? Okay, it's already becoming more specific, right? It's like that from all the people on the planet, who is that the person that you care the most about, that you care about their opinion the most? And then it might be just your mom, or maybe like a certain ex-colleague or your sister or someone from your closest circle. And then you would be checking again, reality check. What's the reality of that? Would they really think this way? And in most cases, that would be not even true. Most cases, it's you who would judge yourself. Other people most likely have empathy. And they will think about you as a brave person taking actions. So then you also can deal with your judgmental thought. It's like, okay, if I hear this word and I tell to myself, it's like I'm a failure, I'm stupid, what you can respond to this thought. Again, we're not trying to push it away, to blame this judgment, because judgment happens all the time. We don't consciously choose to judge, but it's just thoughts, flow of thoughts. But then you can just see, it's like, okay, hi, judge, what do you want from me? Like, thank you for taking care of me, because also this thought is coming from certain sense of protection. Maybe they want to protect you from a mistake, protect you from pain because of that. So you can simply say, okay, thank you for taking care of me, but right now I am an adult. And even if I do something silly, it's okay. I can figure it out. So something like that will be really light, that you can tell, instead of this big thought like, oh, I'm stupid, I'm a failure. Also, I do not recommend you to go immediately to positive affirmation, sort of like, I'm the best. Okay, I'll do the best speech ever. This, because if you still don't believe in yourself, feeling that not enough, then conflicting belief just will create a lot of energy of fighting inside you. It's like, oh, I'm the best. It's like, are you the best? Probably not. This person is better. So your mind will start questioning that. So give your mind something that is simple, that is not questionable. So some simple thoughts like, okay, if I do simple, silly thing, I'll be able to deal with it. And that's okay. So also practice it, test it out, but you can learn to shift those thoughts, shift those judgments about yourself. And the most interesting part for me in working with anxiety and thoughts, actually you can discover about your limiting beliefs. Because how else would you understand your limiting beliefs that are so far hidden in subconscious level? But anxiety gives you opportunity to heal it. How awesome is that? When you feel anxious, if you're asking yourself these investigation questions, okay, what made me feel this way? What happened right before I started feeling this way? This will already give you a clue. And then you can ask yourself, what do I believe in this moment about myself that makes me feel this way? At the beginning, I was sharing that I was feeling anxious because it was typical for me to be worried about everything. So when I started doing this work, I thought it's like, okay, so who am I in this moment when I'm anxious, when I'm constantly worrying? And I realized that the drive is to keep me proving, to keep achieving, to keep performing without any mistakes. And then I realized who would be the person who believed this, and I realized that it's that I don't feel enough when I feel this way. So that gave me a amazing clue that it's like a not enoughness that's showing up. So I could address it. I could work with this belief. I could become more aware. And there are so many ways how you can work with beliefs. At least with my work, I'm using at least 4 methods by now, how you can constantly work with limiting beliefs. And if you have more questions, please let me know. Or if you want to work with me personally, it's that if I will start talking, we'll have another session for that. But even using hypnotherapy, breath work, compassionate inquiry, it's all about uncovering those beliefs and working with them. But even awareness, when you become aware in that moment of your limiting belief, that's already a win. You already know this belief. You are separating yourself from it. So that's why the moment you realize yourself that feeling anxious, and then you realize like what's behind this, and then you see this story about yourself, you can make a new choice. It's like, is that true? What's the reality of that? And you can understand that even if from the past, okay, this belief from the past served me, not anymore. I don't need it anymore. And you can make a new choice, new assertive choice. So that's what we're aiming for. We can use anxiety and its wisdom. What's actually really bothers you? What's important to you? Because you won't feel anxious about things that do not matter to you. So if you have certain strong feelings there, that means that there is something for you there. That it's either something that's so important to you, so dear to your heart, that you feel this way. Maybe you care a lot about this person or about this project, or maybe there is something that is the pathway for your healing, that's the road for you to take to embrace anxiety, and then you can figure out your healing journey, how you can address beliefs. Okay, so let's go into the next state about small actions. So let's say that once you realize that the specifics of this huge thing that is a big belief, maybe from being scared of taking a new job or going into new relationships, going through breakup or whatever it is that seems scary, you can identify then what specifically that you feel afraid of. And many times it might be something like rejection of others. Again, like we a lot of times afraid of this judgments, rejections. In that case, you can practice small actions. What can you do actually to face it? And I remember that I was working with one person and she was going through exams, and there was a lot of fear going into exam. Again, like a huge fear, exam. So then we started practicing visualization with her at first. Imagine that you step into the room where the exam will happen and you can freeze this moment. What's rising in you? and what specifically that arising a feeling of anxiety. Look around the room. Is it the specific table? Is it a window, or what is that? Or maybe it's a person. And then when she realized that it's a teacher who is making her feel anxious, and it was even a specific person, then it became easier. Then we can focus our attention and direct our practice how we can improve situation with this person. And then you can start with practicing small things with this person. For example, with that teacher, we practiced that she could visualize him as a normal human being, instead of being this huge professor. Then, like I was telling, imagine he's waking up in the morning, going to the toilet, going to the bathroom, spending time with kids, and finally going to work. And maybe he's hungry right now, he wants to sleep, and he's been through this journey himself. So this makes you more on a similar level, because he is also a human being. And it, of course, gives a relief. Also, I love to bring more love into this space. So you can also imagine, for example, this teacher in loving relationships with their mother, with their children, give them this love, and even or the room or situation, just sending love and embracing it with love. That will create a much ease in a peace of mind. So that's like a small actions. You can start it with practicing in your mind, visualizing this action, and then you can do small steps. For example, if you feel anxiety when you do public speaking, you can start with simply speaking with your friends, telling stories in your friends circle, or maybe then having a conversation with one new person, maybe in your workspace or maybe in the bar. And then you can do something simple, that you can just record yourself and present this speech. I remember when I was giving TED Talk, I was just practicing in front of my camera. Then I was invited few friends so we could simulate that. So think about what could be simulation of this thing that you're afraid of, so you can embrace it. Okay, and then again, you can bring yourself back to your original intention. Because if you focus too much on the anxiety itself, it will be staying there. For some people especially, it will just create more and more staying in this state. Instead, you can see anxiety as some road, like pathway through what you want to achieve. So there is certain learning for you there. And once you learn it, you can achieve something that you want in your life. Maybe it's a new job, maybe something new in your life. So what's on the way is anxiety, but what's actually moving forward? What are you looking for? What is meaningful for you there? So then what it does, it creates you more resources, because if you think about, I actually want a family, I actually want my future wife or future husband to be loving relationships with them, then going into the next date doesn't sound so scary. It's worth it. You can take the action. It gives you this fuel to take it. Or if you think about like a future work, you can think what all the great stuff that you can have there if you are more connected to your job, to your profession, if you feel happier, what could it do to your life? So then going into the next day, doing the next presentation would be not that scary anymore, because it's worth it. So this is also another technique that you can use. Always remind yourself why you are doing this work, what is your goal actually. And all of these are not sequential, so I'm just sharing you different strategies and tools. You can try to apply many of them. I think core principles are this, that you have the regulated state of your nervous system, and that you're working on a deeper level, that you are embracing, specifying what is specifically that you're afraid of or brings you anxiety. And then you can address beliefs, heal hidden trauma related to this, that creates this belief and this anxiety in your body. And While working on that, you can also start taking certain actions that will make you feel more secure with any situation that is challenging right now. And this is all about curiosity and compassion. In the end of the day, anxiety, as any other emotion, it's the signal, it's information from your inner wisdom that there is something for you here. So instead of trying to suppress it, and as I said you from the beginning, that during this session, we're not going to get rid of anxiety. I'm not going to share the strategies with you, because who would you be without feelings? Who would you be without a sense of danger, like understanding how to detect danger that anxiety also gives you? Probably you don't want to lose all the feelings. Instead, we are being curious about what's behind, what's the wisdom presented there. We are learning about yourself through the feelings. And thankfully, we have them, because that's how we can learn about yourself. Our life is more colorful. So apply this curiosity and also compassion, because we're all humans. We've all been there. Just think about every person who experienced anxiety at least once. Probably it would be the entire human population. So you are not alone in this journey. So please bring more compassion to yourself while doing this work. Okay, so I would like you to just think about one thing that you want to bring home, one thing that stood up for you the most, and you can put it in comments as well. And if you would like to have follow-up from this session, you can comment follow-up, or if you are watching Instagram, then write in my private messages follow-up. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can just write follow-up in comments. And before we complete, I'm inviting you to a final practice. It would be a guided visualization that we will do together. So it will take probably around 8 minutes. So before we finish, let's complete with this beautiful practice. So take a breath and make yourself comfortable. Allow the information to sink in your body. Whatever will stay, will stay. Whatever that you don't need right now, let it go. Take a breath. Your mind is so powerful that it will take what you need exactly at this time. You don't need to worry about remembering anything. And think about one thing that you would like to bring home from this session, with full gratitude to yourself for doing this work. And right now, just sit where you are and feel your chair. Or if you are sitting on the floor, feel the surface of the floor. Feel your feet. Feel how the buttocks is touching the surface of where you sit. And feel your breath. Feel the movement of your breath, how it's changing. Every inhale is unique, and every exhale is different. So just witness your process of inhalation and exhalation. And right now, start breathing with equal inhale and exhale, as slow as you can. Slow inhale, expand your belly. Slow exhale. Slow extended inhalation, expand your lungs. And slow exhale. Open up your heart with the next inhale. And relax, soften your heart on exhale. Feel how the earth is supporting you, where you sit, the ground. And right now, imagine yourself in the most safe space for you. Maybe it's your home. Maybe it's your room. Maybe it's a garden or park. Maybe it's a beautiful nature place where you feel absolutely comfortable. Imagine colors around you, sounds. Just enjoy being in this safe space for yourself. It can be imaginative space as well. You can decide on what garden it is, full of trees, flowers, fruits, beautiful grass. And right now you can invite any person or animal who would you like to be with you in this safe space that makes you feel present and relaxed. Maybe it's your pet. Maybe it's a person who really loves you, accepts you. Maybe it's a present of some higher powers. Whatever it is that serves you, allow them to be with you in your safe space. And right now, being in this safe space, invite a moment where you feel anxious. Allow yourself to remember a moment that makes you feel anxious. And going into that moment, imagine if you can freeze it. Imagine that in that moment, everything is frozen and you can walk around and investigate. Look around the room, see the people, identify what is that makes you feel this way. And notice sensations in your body in that moment. Where do you feel it the most? Maybe it's your belly or your shoulders, maybe your heart or your knee. Just notice a rising sensation, bodily sensation. Notice feeling that is arising. And bring compassion to this part of yourself. I see you. Thank you so much. Ask them what their intention is, what the intention of this part that is activated. Because this part is activated for a reason. They have a specific function or role to serve you, to help you. How are they trying to help you? Maybe they're trying to protect you. And imagine how you can hold a hand of a person that is you feeling anxious. You can hold their hand and say, I'm here. I'm an adult now. I'm not a little girl or boy anymore. I'm resourceful. I have capacity to deal with any situation. And walk around the room with this version of yourself that feels anxious. Look at the person or place that triggers it. And together you can send love to yourself in that moment and to this person or to this space, imagining them in the most loving situation with their children, with their family, mother, father. Remember that we are all humans. Every other person is the same human as you. They are also having all the humanly experiences. They have feelings, struggles. They go to the bathroom. They are real. There is nothing special. They also feel anxious time to time. So extend your love and compassion towards them as well, or towards the place or animal that brings out these feelings. And now bring back attention to yourself. What do you need in that situation? What do you need to hear? How do you want to breathe in that moment? What do you want to say to yourself in that moment? And just imagine how you can breathe slowly. I am with you. I love you. Bring a little bit of smile and playfulness, being curious about what's happening and grateful for discovering new thing about yourself. And right now, you can bring back the version of you that felt anxious as a little child. Hug them, kiss them, bring into your heart, and bring them back into your heart, merging with them. Inhale and exhale. And that's enough for today. You can always do these discoveries in this challenging situation that scares you and do small steps. But right now, you can go back to your safe space. Sit there, go back to your garden, or maybe to your room covered with your blanket. And think about all the people that feel the same way you feel. Imagine how different lights are in people's hearts are lighting up around the entire globe. We're all connected. We're all together in this. And we're sharing support for each other, sharing capacity and resources. Know that by doing this work, you're also encouraging others. And remember that there are so many people who have great, kind intentions towards you. And right now, extend your compassion towards yourself and your surroundings. And go back to your breath. Feel your body, feel your actual body, physical presence. Feel your room where you are right now, slowly coming back into your space. You can move your body. And when you are ready, just gently open your eyes. Thank you so much for staying with this practice and through entire session. If you would like to receive materials related to this session, message me in private messages or in comments, follow up, and then I will ensure to send you a link with resources, with guided practices and recommendations and previous recordings as well. So just message follow up. And generally, I have many of the free calls, free live sessions like this. So we will have more things coming in following weeks. If you would like to have a specific topic addressed, let me know. I'm always curious to know what's the most relevant to you. And follow me on Facebook. Most of the sessions are happening on Facebook and also reflected on YouTube and Instagram, so you can follow me there as well. And if you would like to go deeper in certain issues that were arising for you today, if you would like me to work with you to discover, to be the person, resource for you for some time, we can work one-on-one. I use holistic approach, combining compassionate inquiry, breath work, and hypnotherapy, sounds, different modalities for people to understand the root cause behind presented issues and deal with them in a holistic way, using the power of body, emotions, mind, and a subconscious as well. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone who is joining live, and for all the people who will join later as well. Sending you lots of love and light. Let's do together one cleansing breath as a gratitude for spending this time and sharing this energy. Thank you. And I'll see you next week.